First at 5. From the University of Florida's College of Journalism and Communications, you're watching WUFT News.
The University of Florida's 13th president is stepping down at the end of the month. This is WUFT's First at 5. I'm Tatyana White.
And I'm Natasha Holt. Ben Sasse has only been on the job for about 2 years, but he says it's time to shift his focus towards his family. Gator Nation was alerted Thursday night via email of President Sasse's plan to resign at the end of the month. In the letter, he cited his wife's health issues as one of the reasons for his departure. He says, quote, "Our 2 wonderful daughters are in college, but our youngest is just turning 13. Gator Nation needs a president who can keep charging hard. Melissa needs a husband who can pull his weight, and my kids need a dad who can be home many more nights." UF students I spoke to didn't have strong feelings either way about the announcement.
My roommate and her family are very upset about it, so therefore I'm upset about it.
But ultimately, they believe he's making the right choice. Gainesville Mayor Harvey Ward sent well wishes to President Sasse's family during his weekly media update Friday morning.
I certainly wish President Sasse and his family the best. I hate to see anybody have anything like that.
The highly contentious appointment as UF's president in November of 2022 was followed by campus protests and national attention. Sasse, a Republican from Nebraska, resigned from his U.S. Senate seat in January of 2023. He was later inaugurated last November. His resignation comes as UF was named the top public university in the country earlier this year by the Wall Street Journal. Florida University Board of Governors did not respond to a request for comment about Sasse's resignation. We also reached out to the UF Director of Public Affairs about information on his replacement in the interim. They said they've made no decision on the matter.
This morning's worldwide tech outage halted travel at airports across the nation today, as several big airlines were forced to initiate ground stops. Several flights have been canceled and delayed after something went wrong with the software update from the cybersecurity company CrowdStrike. Many airports around the U.S. saw huge crowds and confused passengers as planes were left on the ground due to the IT issue. The update caused Microsoft to malfunction, causing systems to shut down at many businesses like airports, banks, and hospitals. The Gainesville Regional Airport has been experiencing a few flight delays and cancellations. One passenger who was in Gainesville for a work trip struggled to get a new flight.
They constantly text me and keep me updated as to what's going on. But the problem is when you try to rebook and there's an internet error, you can't. It's going to have to be a manual process that they do. So it's not something you'll be able to do online.
Airlines are slowly returning to service, and a transportation secretary official said it will likely be tomorrow before everything is back to normal. 911 outages also happened this morning across several north central Florida counties. Both agencies in Clay and Bradford counties reported outages just after 7 this morning. They say services were restored around 9 a.m. Law enforcement are asking neighbors to utilize the non-emergency lines if there is an outage to their 911 systems moving forward. The cause of the outages are under investigation.
Areas of thunderstorms are expected to continue to develop this weekend. WUFT meteorologist William Maxham joins us now with the weather forecast.
Yeah, we're tracking some pretty heavy rainfall that's moving through Alachua County, basically across 75 from just south of High Springs down to around Micanopy. Rainfall rates around 2 inches an hour here, but these areas of showers are pretty small. They're going to move through rather quickly. We're pretty much clear. The west side of I-75 for right now, just one little cell there at Dixie County. This evening, a few showers or storms are going to be possible, but things are improving, and things are improving at the airports as well. If you are flying out, you still need to check with your airlines, because even though the airport in general is seeing improvement, we're still seeing major delays in those major hubs, and that could be impacting your flight. So be sure to be checking for the latest before you do head to the airport this evening. Showers and thunderstorms will be dissipating by about 9 o'clock. Then we're back into the upper 70s overnight tonight, but more storms come our way tomorrow. I'll be tracking those coming up.
The Ocala Police Department is warning drivers to slow down as school starts back Monday for Wyoming Park Elementary for Wyoming Park Elementary students. The school was tapped as one of the pilot schools to test out the governor's year-round school program. We told you Monday about Rawlings Elementary heading back to class in Gainesville. State education leaders say the purpose is to see if learning losses decrease in the summer. In Alachua County, changes are being made to the school early release schedule for the upcoming academic year. Early release will now only happen once a month, occurring on the third Wednesday only. District leaders say the change falls under a new agreement between the school board and the Alachua County Educational Association. They say it will make students more consistent with the time spent on learning and expand opportunities for academic achievement.
Florida leaders are alerting Floridians to reports of an increase in gift card scams. Chief Financial Officer Jimmy Petronis says Floridians can spot a scammer as soon as they call. If they're rushing you to provide the gift card number or urging you to send a picture of the card, disconnect the call. The Federal Trade Commission says gift card scams accounted for more than $200 million in thefts last year.
Alachua County Public Schools are gearing up for all students to return to the classroom with the Stop the Violence Back to School rally. The event will feature guest speaker Project Pat, a member of the famed rap group 3 6 Mafia. 5,000 backpacks filled with school supplies will be given away. Children must be present in order to receive one. The 25th annual event is next Saturday, July 27th at the Northwest 83rd Street Gymnasium. Doors open at 9 a.m. and you can pre-register at pavingpeace.org.
After 2 years of record numbers of sea turtle nests on Florida beaches, researchers are optimistic about the future of the endangered marine life. A new law signed by Governor Ron DeSantis should decrease ocean pollutants that are deadly to the aquatic reptiles. I met with researchers to learn more about their goals to protect the Florida sea turtles and their nests this summer. On the Atlantic and Gulf coasts of Florida, researchers and volunteers meet every day before dawn to trek miles of coastline. In North Florida, Lucas Mears and his team search for signs of new nests or overnight hatchling emergences. They collect data about what they find and report it to the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission, better known as FWC. Nesting season is an exciting time for researchers like Justin Perrault, especially after tracking record-breaking numbers during the past 2 years.
Compared to last year when the state of Florida had over 200,000 sea turtle nests, we won't even approach that this year, but the numbers are still good.
Researchers say this year's numbers are more typical, but they shouldn't be considered a decline because nesting fluctuations are expected. Conservationists are more concerned about protecting the wildlife from threats of human disturbances.
What you can do to help protect turtles is to keep the beach clean, dark, and flat.
That means removing trash from the beach, keeping the coastline dark, and flattening sandcastles and holes in the sand when you leave the beach. New legislation signed this year by Governor DeSantis also should help in conservation efforts. HB 321, which went into effect this month, now bans intentional balloon releases. Researchers say the law should cut down on ocean pollutants that are dangerous to the turtles.
They pop eventually and then come back and fall to the ground or the ocean. And sea turtles often mistake them for food, whether it's jellyfish or any other their food items. They'll ingest all of those balloons and they'll get tangled in the balloon strings because you can't rip the balloon strings.
Conservation enthusiasts campaigned for the legislation for years without success. It wasn't until the agriculture community exposed how fallen balloons also kill cattle that it gained the attention it needed to be passed by the Florida legislature. As hatchlings crawl to the water, researchers know they'll need to swim up to 100 miles to an area where they can hide in plentiful seaweed and grow. Only a small percentage of hatchlings make it to adulthood, but researchers are encouraged that Florida, a hot spot for sea turtle nesting, is making improvements to better foster the success of these wildlife. Coming up next when First at 5 returns, time is running out for Florida voters to cast their ballots in next month's primary. How long you have to make sure you're registered.
And now that the RNC is over, both presidential candidates are looking to ramp up their campaign efforts over the next week. The battleground states they are eyeing next. We'll be right back.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Former President Trump has accepted his party's nomination for the third time in less than a decade. Last night's RNC finale speech was the longest acceptance speech in history at roughly 90 minutes. As Drew Wilder reports, the former president's speech comes as pressure mounts for President Biden to exit the race.
There's many countries from all over.
Two campaign trails on very different paths. The day after Donald Trump accepted the Republican Party's nomination, NBC reports President Joe Biden's family is discussing a possible exit plan. His campaign chairman today, though, said Biden is staying in the race.
We know that we've slipped a bit from the debate, and we know that the president has to prove to the American people exactly what he believes, that he's in this to win this, he can do this.
But some Democrats don't believe Biden is able to do that.
The president is not capable of delivering the message in an effective way. And I don't see how anyone could debate that.
Florida voters have just a few more days to register to vote in next month's primary election. The deadline is Monday, July 22nd. The August 20th ballot will include partisan primary races for the U.S. Senate and some congressional and legislative races. There are also several nonpartisan city, county, and judicial races across the state open to all voters, regardless of political affiliation. In addition to new Florida voters, those who wish to switch their political party affiliation must also make changes by Monday for the update to take effect.
The Florida Department of Commerce on Friday released a report that said the state's June unemployment rate was 3.3%, and that's unchanged from April and May. The estimated number of people out of work remained at 361,000 in June. Jimmy Heckman is the chief economist for the Department of Commerce.
We're seeing really encouraging numbers when we look at kind of the core labor force statistics of prime age workers that are participating in the labor force at near record highs.
The overall labor force grew by 66,000 people from June 2023. Last month, the largest employment drop was in the category of leisure and hospitality, which lost 14,700 positions. The majority lost involved jobs in hotels and food service.
An exceptionally hot summer is likely to transition into a steamy fall. That's according to weather leaders from NOAA and the National Weather Service. They released an updated 3-month weather outlook for the U.S. The report says there's little relief in store between now and October as every state is leaning towards above average temperatures. Weather officials also say as hurricane season continues, the Gulf and East Coast are predicted to get more rain than usual over the next 3 months.
Well, we're getting some rain today. Those showers are coming down pretty heavy just across I-75. We'll be tracking the heaviest rain showers and what we can expect through the weekend next.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Welcome back. The rain is coming down in Gainesville and across the U.S. The UF campus right now. Got about almost a quarter inch of rain in the last 24 hours, and that likely going to continue to pick up because rain's still falling. We're expecting rain to start slowing down in the next hour or so, but still some pretty heavy rainfall coming down across most of the city of Gainesville. Rainfall rates in the neighborhood about a half inch to maybe an inch or so an hour, and where we're seeing those purple colorings there, maybe as high as 2 inches an hour, but rain not going to last for 2 hours. It is going to be moving out within the next 30 minutes or so. We'll be seeing dry skies returning, but we are watching a couple of isolated showers developing a little further to the west. All that activity likely to hang on for, again, maybe a couple more hours. By I think 9 o'clock, we should be seeing most of this moving out and just quieting down. Temperatures have been aided by that humidity where it hasn't rained. Heat index values over 100 still being reported. Temperatures themselves where it has rained much cooler than that, into the 80s. Gainesville Airport into the 70s as we saw, where the rain currently falling around the UF campus. By 6 o'clock, that rain should be mostly to our east, and we'll continue to move that way. 9-10 o'clock, showers should cross the 95 corridor and continue to move away. Our setup today pretty favorable for rain showers with some heavy rainfall across North Florida, and this setup not really changing a whole lot over the next couple of days. Stationary front remains stationary, and we'll see little disturbances tracking over that front all the way through Sunday. That's going to keep storms in the forecast through the entire weekend. Let's track when that rain should be rolling through. It's going to be, again, settling down overnight tonight, then another round into tomorrow afternoon and evening, then Sunday, same kind of thing. Showers and thunderstorms developing into the afternoon and evening, then moving through. Rain going to stay in the forecast for the next several days. In fact, we have an 80% chance of showers and thunderstorms through the weekend and into the start of next week. Temperatures don't budge very much at all. We've got showers and storms with temperatures into the low 90s, and minus the storms, that humidity going to make it feel above 100 pretty much each afternoon through the next 6 to 7 days.
And the first Olympic athletes to arrive in Paris began checking into the Olympic Village this week, just over a week from the official start date of the Games, with the opening ceremonies happening next Friday. Athletes from the United States, Australia, South Africa, Japan, and Uruguay were some of the first to arrive to the village, which is in Saint Denis, adjacent to the city of Paris, where most of the competition will be held. Athletes will be housed in brand new apartments on the grounds. They said they were excited to check out their rooms in the Olympic Village campus to get to know other athletes from around the world.
I'm excited to get checked into the rooms, get all the clothes and everything, and just get a lay of the land. It's beautiful out today, and so we are here at about lunchtime, so we're going to want to stay awake till it's time to go to sleep. So definitely just going to keep ourselves occupied, getting to see everything here at the village.
The complex will host more than 20,000 athletes and delegates throughout the Olympics and Paralympics. The Olympic Games will start on July 26th and will last until August 11th, while the Paralympics will run from August 28th to September 8th.
I'm really looking forward to the Olympics this year. How are you feeling?
Oh, I'm so excited. Such a big fan of the Olympics.
Yes.
Before we go, let's have one more check on the weather.
Yeah, our weather looking good for, maybe staying inside for the evening. We do have some showers and storms that are around, and they're going to be dissipating in the next couple of hours. I think by 9 o'clock, we'll be done with the rain for tonight. Then another round of thunderstorms should develop tomorrow and pretty much every afternoon of the next 5 to 6 days. As we head into next week, temperature is going to be into the 90s, but it is very humid, so it's going to feel as warm as 100, maybe as warm as 105 for a short time each afternoon. So hot and humid and lots of storms ahead.
Thanks for joining us. We're back here Monday for another edition of First at 5.
But your North Central Florida news is always on at WUFT.org and on all our social media platforms. Have a good night.